2026. 1 year, 1 tournament, 1 market. And for Erling Haaland, it could be the difference between being just another elite footballer and becoming a genuine billionaire global icon.
The Premier League has someone very special in its hands. That's what he does. He cannot keep it quiet. There would appear to be no limits.
The Etihad expects. Erling Haaland always delivers.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be held across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But make no mistake, this is an American World Cup. The bulk of matches are in the US and the commercial engine is American. And the US market is unlike anywhere else on Earth. The United States dominates as the world's largest advertising market, valued at over $450 billion a year, which is over 40% of the entire global spend on ads. Entering the US doesn't just increase endorsement income, it multiplies it. And in the summer of 2026, for 1 month, the entire world will be watching football in America. Haaland has never had a World Cup moment. He has never had that one tournament that defines a legacy. But 2026, if Norway perform, if Haaland dominates, this could be his global breakout moment. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about timing, market access, global positioning, and a once-in-a-generation opportunity to turn dominance in football into a generational wealth empire. Now here's what makes 2026 even more interesting for Haaland specifically. Unlike Messi in 2022 or Mbappe in 2018, Haaland has no World Cup legacy. He's never played in one. He's broken records in the Premier League, Champions League, and even the Bundesliga. But he's never had that 1 month when the entire planet is watching. The World Cup is the only tournament that transcends football. It's the only event where your grandmother, your co-worker who doesn't watch sports, and every casual fan on earth suddenly knows your name. And for athletes like Haaland, already elite, already commercial, already structured, the global spotlight doesn't just boost fame, it unlocks entirely new revenue streams. Messi's World Cup win didn't just make him a legend, it made him $79 million in endorsements in 2024 alone. It doubled Inter Miami's valuation, it made him the most marketable athlete on the planet at 37 years old. Now imagine what that does to a 25-year-old. At his physical peak, with a decade of football left and world-class financial structure already in place. That's Haaland in 2026. So let's talk about Norway. For the first time since 1998, Norway has qualified for a World Cup. And this isn't just a feel-good story about a small nation punching above its weight. Norway have a legitimate squad now. 2 world-class players in Haaland and Martin Odegaard, Premier League proven players in Sander Berge, Chris Ayer, and Jørgen Strand Larsen, Champions League regulars in Julian Ryerson and Alexander Sørloth, an exciting young talent in Antonio Nusa, Oscar Bob, and Andreas Schjelderup. This isn't a one-man team, but make no mistake, Haaland is still the face, the superstar. And if Norway get out of the group stage, Haaland becomes the story. If they make the quarterfinal, he's a global phenomenon. If they somehow reach a semi-final, he's definitely in the Ballon d'Or conversation, regardless of who ends up lifting the trophy. And here's the critical part. The US loves sports, and this is their tournament. Norway played their first 3 matches right in the commercial epicenter of the US, the New York-Boston area. All the big ad decisions in the US are taken in offices in Manhattan. So every goal Haaland scores in New York, Boston, and elsewhere will be beamed right into 330 million households in the richest consumer market on Earth. And the people making all the decisions are close to all the action. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Norway is drawn in the same group as France. So that means Haaland versus Mbappe head-to-head on a World Cup stage in the United States. The 2 biggest stars in world football and the 2 most commercially valuable players right now, meeting in a match that will have an incredible amount of global hype for that reason alone. Haaland and Norway are the perfect underdog story. Small nation, generational talent, and history shows us that every World Cup has a smaller nation that captures hearts and becomes the people's favorite team. Morocco in 2022, Croatia in 2018, Costa Rica in 2014, and Ghana in 2010. And the list goes on. Norway could be that team in 2026. American audiences love that narrative, and American brands pay premium money to be associated with it. Now let's talk about something most people aren't paying attention to: Haaland's sudden shift in social media strategy. For years, Haaland barely posted. Minimal Instagram, no YouTube, and the occasional sponsor obligation, and his mystique was built on silence and interviews like these.
Tonight you became the youngest player in UEFA Champions League history to score a first-half hat-trick. How are you feeling right now?
I feel very good.
Anything else?
You ask how I feel.
But in late 2025, something changed. Haaland launched a YouTube channel, his Snapchat is close to legendary already, and he appeared in more behind-the-scenes content. Why? Because Team Haaland knows what's coming. By using social media, he grows his audience wider, including people who aren't really that interested in football. The first millions of followers know him from the pitch, the rest know him from YouTube, or the media, or Snapchat. And social media followings don't just grow linearly, they explode during major tournaments. Look at what happened to Messi's Instagram during the 2022 World Cup. Before the tournament, 360 million followers. After Argentina won, 400 million followers. And today, over 500 million followers. 40 million new followers in a month, then another 100 million in the 2 years after. The World Cup is a follower acquisition machine, and followers equal money. Haaland currently has around 40 million followers on Instagram. If he enters the World Cup with 40 million and exits with 150 million, that's not just vanity metrics, that's over 100 million new people in his commercial funnel. And unlike most players, Haaland owns 100% of his image rights. So every new follower, every new brand deal, and every new revenue stream, he keeps it all. But here's the strategic genius. He's not just waiting for the World Cup to grow his following organically. He's building that audience now. First, his own YouTube channel, where he and Team Haaland own the narrative completely. That's the long-form TV audience. And for mobile, rather than competing with an extreme amount of other megastars on Instagram, he's really only competing with one, DJ Khaled. Because where others post lavish stories on Instagram, Haaland is posting these things on Snapchat. And by the time June 2026 arrives, Haaland will already have momentum, and then the World Cup will accelerate it. So Haaland's team understands. You don't build a media empire in 1 month. You build it in the 12 months before the moment. So when the moment hits, you're already positioned to capture maximum value. Now let's get into the real money, the US market. American sports fans spend more money on merchandise, tickets, and media subscriptions than fans anywhere else. 330 million people with the highest disposable income per capita globally, a sports culture built on commercializing athletes, in a country where football is still growing, meaning there's massive upside for the right faces. Even if you just look at sports marketing, the US spends more on sports sponsorships than the next 5 countries combined. But here's the problem for football. It's still a secondary sport in the US. American football, basketball, baseball, and hockey dominate. However, the World Cup changes everything. For 1 month, football becomes the top-tier sport in America. The casual fans tune in, the media covers it extensively, and brands activate campaigns around it. The athletes who perform becomes household names, not just among football fans, but among all sports fans. Unlike previous World Cups in Qatar, Russia, or Brazil, this one is in the US. So when the tournament ends, athletes can stay in the US market. Think talk show appearances, events, partnerships, all designed to maximize exposure and cement stardom. Haaland is already the global face of Nike Football and EA Sports FC, but with this World Cup on American soil, he can become their legitimate face in the United States as well. The market that matters most for companies' revenue growth. And Haaland's unmistakable look can lead to some interesting Hollywood cameos as well. And remember, Haaland already owns pieces of businesses, DB Journey, Bondep, Hyperice, and potentially more we don't know about. A spike in his US visibility doesn't just increase endorsement fees, it increases the value of every company he invests in. So if DB Journey becomes a travel brand that athletes and influencers use in the US and Haaland is the face of it, the company's valuation could 5x. This is a multiplier effect of strategic brand ownership combined with global visibility. So that's why the 2026 World Cup is unlike any other tournament for Haaland. The timing, the market, the narrative, the commercial infrastructure, it's all aligned. Because everything Team Haaland has been building for the last 10 years, every strategic move, every calculated decision, every investment, has been leading up to this moment. The World Cup in all major cities across the United States. But there's more to this story. In part 2, we'll talk about the risks that could derail everything and whether Haaland can actually become football's first active billionaire. Subscribe and don't miss it. I'm Kevin. Thanks for watching.